Well, I don't know about you, but Mrs. Pops and I had never seen The Wizard of Oz in a theater. We've missed out on different anniversary releases and things like that. Obviously, we own the movie. We've raised our kids on it. It's been part of our lives this entire time. And we finally got to see in theaters The Wizard of Oz. That's right. As Leonard Maltin said during his introduction, as it was originally intended. And I have to just say a few things about the film and talk about the experience and encourage you to go out and support Fathom Events and what they're doing because a theatrical experience like this changes how we look at the film. Like my wife and I both came away with different responses, and I thought that was very, very interesting. So, this is from the 75th anniversary release. This is like 10 years ago, their trailer. But you can see just from the visuals how stunning it looks. This was the digital transfers now are just amazing. Look at how the all the colors pop and things like that. If you don't know the story of Wizard of Oz, just I mean, just literally, it's the adventure of a lifetime, right? The imagination that transforms everything about Dorothy Gale's life. And I got to be honest, she has more strong woman characteristic and story arc elements than most things that are done modern that claim to. For instance, she has to stand up her own fear, right? The fear of the unknown to go on this adventure. She stands up for her friends multiple times. She actually stands up to the cowardly lion before she knows he's cowardly, smacks him on the nose. She's the one that comes to the rescue at the end of the movie. She's the one that is saying, "No, that's not good enough, wizard. We need to have answers." So, uh, the story arc that Dorothy goes on, the journey she goes on, is sort of wrapped up in amazing songs and dialogue that we were both sort of like blown away by. Not like, it's not that we haven't seen this movie like dozens and dozens and dozens of times. It's when you see it in a theater and you're just so immersed in it, you sort of pick up on the comments about from the different characters of what they're trying to accomplish and why. Why you know, Scarecrow wants to think, and what it would be like if I had a heart and I had courage, and all these attributes that you take for granted as being admirable characteristics, right? Um, like I said, there's no way to put into words like the visuals with everything else. It was so immersive. We were both just blown away. Um, so for me, it was really a lot more about the pacing and the script, lines of dialogue. I was more attuned, dialed into than I may had been before. For Mrs. Pop, she really came away with like, I wonder how they did this back then. I wonder how they did this back then. But she would also say, I don't want to know. And I found that fascinating. Like literally, it was even more magical seeing it in the theater. Because I have to say, the one thing for me was just seeing the sets, like this shot way back here when you're seeing these sets, these are physical sets that were made with just dozens and dozens of extras and just different camera shots that they use to portray the menace of the witch and the special effects with the smoke and things like that. And by the way, the dog is fantastic. There's one spot where I think it's pretty early where Toto is on like a bike or something and he's lifting his paw 'cause he's supposed to shake in a minute and he's ahead of his cue. It was the only time I caught him, like, it was really funny. Um, but yeah, this was just such a magical experience to see something like this in the theater. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I mean, literally 1939, guys, 85 years. Um, I just like I said, the sets, because there's so many times when you see other movies that come after this, literally for like the next, 40 years, and you can tell they're on a set. You can tell that there wasn't the attention made to try to hide the fact that it's a set. In 1939, they were trying their use of the way they did it with their lighting and the depth, and they would change camera cuts and things like that to kind of get you immersed into the fact that this was all on sets and studio work. Look at the acting. So everyone is fantastic. Leonard Malta did the intro, like I said. He had a little Jack Haley story or so to say, which was fine. I don't think it was anything particularly that special in the intro. It was just the experience of witnessing this, like I said, on the big screen. Um, we just had just a magnificent time, and can't recommend all of this for all of you. If you have any of these movies that Fathom is doing that are on your like favorite list, or maybe you're kind of on the fence or never seen them in a theater, I can't tell you enough about why you should go. It was fantastic. I loved everything about it. And I'm so happy that we can kind of have that on sort of like a bucket list uh, of things that we've done. So that's my take on it, folks. All the links will be there for you to check it out with other events through Fathom. Can't thank you enough for watching. I am Pops.